ngaro na la wato kuma ta baki asira linga da fo ko nyi founding kila
hey elafta maboro la bank kalpo efa igiso eseo na yuna jang ibadin kiyato kati yuna wallet ibe falindiro ke kan sandiri nyat
ni la yuna wallet o si muna fanno tulo jabo mano kandrin ani fen jama isi sanno la yuna wallet o kono yalla kamo soto ila wallet o kono
alkana la kondano tay kafi yuna wallet anatan tolle mukan na balwo fanondi abe sona yaren ko bulu podo ne la mobile scan yo science ise maboro ke wato men diate
ko be sandro ke fangole ba ko ba ke kan dimbalem isi ñu lonko e sandro se yona enterprise wato wati ani la yona wallet tola e be lan kamo soto kay la wallet o kono
alina nga kafun nanyi yuna dimbayal tan kasandiro ke yuna biti foto alina kata nyin ko kentat na sura ton lolu si sandiro kije se maboro fanan keje
moro jundiana nyum ko di mabal ni kadeda
Hello and welcome to another edition of our show. It's another Thursday and I'm back here in the studios, you know, of course, to look at current affairs and what is really happening in the country. And today I am wearing the new Jufure collection and I am very pleased, you know, every week, every time they have new collection, they send us. So this week we have the Transu. You know the Taranso, right? Taranso. Yeah. We have Taranso. They have a new collection called Taranso. Okay. And this one is Al-Bukalam. And also they have the Ancestor. So these are the three collections that are out. And thank you very much, Musa, for always sending us the new collection. Of course, today we'll be looking at local government issues. And to discuss this, I have Mr. Lamin Komma, former Director of Lands, an expert in local government issues, and of course I have Lamin Jammeh, former Brikama Area Council Chairman, and also wanted to run during the chairmanship election. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much indeed.
First, what we will do, normally what we do on the show is to first look at what is trending. Now, what was trending this week is the Brikama Area Council and the Operation Clear the Roads. What we have seen, the Operation Clear the Roads. I would want to do this in local language. I think I could matter.
Yeah, why not?
Local language also, because Mojama Kafunyo kon kalafka amoyal coming for. Brikama Area Council, ining mansakunda ngaje ko tensiono siata bake. Before Kaveri Yankuba took over, it has been back and forth all the time. But recently, Operation Clear the Roads, Banjul, KMC, and the West Coast with Labeto. But in Salnatilingola, Brikama Area Council, you do la de Damia Lonko, if I chairman or Janala Mol from Kotado College, Operation Clear the Roads strategy, Wikokono, and it ended up even really bad because Tiagas by Molka, one of the councillors arrest. Back and forth in Graton back, but you know, Alhamdulillah, the police IGP was there, and they made it clear that it is Operation Clear the Roads, not Operation Clear the Markets. So I think that was very important. Operations commander for at the premises. So, but the thing has been solved. But you know, if you look at the relationship with councils, local, central government, the tensions have always been like this. KMC Banjul at some point, but it seems like now Brikama Area Council for an tension of Jail. When you look at what happened, especially with this one, Munila observation, especially with the Clear the Roads initiative.
Perhaps Nyanta, we go back a little bit and put it in context.
Yes.
Why local government in the first place?
Why local government?
Because sometimes we tend to forget why it's happening.
Why is it happening?
Especially with the present government and the technical capacity. We need to go back. You see, there is a saying that no political system is complete and democratic without a local government system. So from there, Purka implemented, there's this concept of subsidiarity, where the central government will take a very minimal role. If the role men kela dal, doko men kela me alonko, yung mansa kunari walta kenola.
Okay.
So that you found bedi mansa kunari walta. Ikapola decentralization.
Decentralization.
So nata start jang, itola jang aben constitution otole. We not a local government act that are of 2002. So, but the mayor started there was this program called the SDRD, Support to Decentralized Rural Development. Easily fund. In fact, I was the program at that time. It was in the 90s, about 1999 or something like that.
Okay.
So in that now formulate, then we'll act in that. But in the act, you see, the whole idea is why local government is because you tend to bring governance closer to the grassroots, so that it becomes more efficient in terms of planning and development, and then you can cater for the needs of the people directly. So that's the whole reason, and there's this aspect of governance and efficiency. So what are the concept of decentralization through what they call devolution of powers. So in act under the schedule, we attend the government simune dino councils la, and in government mune dila no councils la. For example, Nico army arms and there's a no-go area.
There's no-go area.
So, but certain areas, and this specific one under that schedule, you have markets. It's under the councils.
Yeah.
But the most important thing that I observed there, I think it's number 5 or so of that section.
Yeah.
Well, a council can regulate and even give licensing and things like that for the sale and hawking of wires. That is, most wafiro ken or siro kan or sira karantantangola.
Yeah.
Council will regulate no. Even the erection of stores for business, trade, and professions. Abigail.
So even silakan silo
it always I decide no ko nyin silo la karatanda on the stalls kelaje or whatever. Obije, that's the provision is there.
Okay.
So saying the question is NRA kamune kije. Because as far as NRA is concerned, you see there should be some kind of division of responsibility clear. It a time a monkey talem silo. It a memory problem with the silo is ya design ya bill. But mostly administration or katra modulable. And mostly in sila civil administration, councils level. So it is a main cane or traffic la cool cane sign or traffic sign and silo la cool dal car regular. But now but the council la ya money. And secondly, I can remember for William Yintiko, the chairman, the chairperson, who is the political head for the council, is also the administrative head of the area.
Yeah.
So need to be taji. I'll see a kacha.
Yeah.
You know, because at the central level, it's definitely still congestion and things like that. We need to do something about it.
Yes.
So there's the aspect of planning it properly and coming out with proper strategies to implement some activities. Then I'm will properly. You see, nobody is against Sila Claire.
Nobody is.
Nobody.
Yeah.
I wrote an article about it. In fact, pleading, let them stop. At least they have discourse for all.
Yeah.
But nobody listen. Now, excuse me, no problem na silang. Wale ma plan properly and apply universally for now. It doesn't mean that all the silo lenyanta clear and There are certain areas where definitely they are affected,
Yeah.
and they should be taken care of. But it only had a universal application, and in the end, when Fonka command DJ, it seems that it's very subjective. He can't tell you specific. What's the clear objective of this exercise?
Eko pour que c'est clair.
Ndanga même follow. Na moi president Fongalako ya Jammeh manghanya kala te yake. Two, lunta wale bina, so it's good meal kono je senia. I doubt whether lunta bita or Marcel kono Brikama Marcel and things like that.
Yeah.
And and third, put aesthetics. Silo ekla Now, there's a contradiction here because yes, silo clear, the rubbish is there. So there was a more organized rubbish. Now it's more disorganized rubbish. And there is a legal implication there because let's say the tomato rubbish can be boit. More tomato ja boit asimo cut it down. So there's this what they call occupier's liability. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm thinking that's a possibility.
That's a possibility, yeah.
It's a here government shoe because it only will be clear yeah today. So bonyanta wale juwe. There is a clear definition kafoko area councils are responsible to Marcela. And konga memfo in section of BJME alonko definitely sila kang firo ni wafiro it will like control. So I think there should have been some discussion about that. And there are other powers of the council which gives them that.
Right. And we will come to that.
Yeah, we will come to that.
Yeah, Mr. Jammeh, is there an observation of unity when it comes to Nyiming Keta Brikama and generally when it comes to Operation Clear the Roads? In fact, ibajala molko model observation of minti ekolo ko nyinyande kala banjulu for koina eko bari some observers, and I still see somebody writing it now in my comment section, why the concentration on UDP councils is at some point they feel targeted. We saw the outburst from the chairman himself at some point how frustrated because he felt like he was targeted, his council was targeted because of the back and forth, especially with Operation Clear the Roads. It's an observation on this entire exercise.
Ayo, ila nyinkaro betata bak. Koto ke fana minfo. Ana man sewo nokan. Parinsa ko abonsung. Bawo men kacha men kono tenti. Abe sunta nyim bukola nyi.
Local Government Act 2002.
2002. Abe be nyim bukol kono.
Okay.
Yo yalong kabring wato mena nil badu ko la tembo mena wotembo atarante ba development officer.
Okay.
Bari Badara Diouf the late Badara Diouf VP atele mun na fenko tin permanent secretary.
Okay.
So wo konole in local government act and in local government finance audit act 2004. You know 2002.
Yeah.
And then 2004. So mo fanan kono gata nyimbe ko da tenda bale. Okolan kana consultations ke around the country.
Okay.
Right? So but kabri mo fanan until I was a picked secretary.
Okay.
For the compilation of the draft.
Okay.
So until aning Sirifo Sonko, the late Sirifo Sonko, he was then the director of governance.
Okay.
So do fanam bante ka fa pada bo fanam he was my associate secretary. Aning ko keta nyaming for futara bi temboto. Atara na fenko fanan develop ka me ko finance manual fenko nyi fenko buko nyi.
Okay.
Bari mimbe ba local government act yin kono. Nunto kana bi kilintije mi ya lonko abatama kan.
Kilintije mi ya tamata.
Abatama kan.
Okay.
Wolfon ya tinna enyin local government commission of inquiry ya londi. Momo bena ku sola ni ke tulo lo local government commission of inquiry. Wakile bal no kabirin permanent secretary a minister follow. Kana fumbe yin tembo minto. Ibela kilinti jemi alon ko ya londo soto. Ibe ka tara je nyine da nyama drum comme koto ke if I quote. Banko ko rek land problem. So amunta ko mobile hakilo bola kan. Bari faransa lonko nyim buko nyin na bondi Constitution of the Gambia 1997 ta. Na bondi wolo kono.
Yeah.
So wala context. Ani nyi don la context. Ika wole consistent. Bari problem o min sotota je. Amunta ko nyin NRA. Transport Act.
Yeah.
Right? Wala ning nina fenko loi e nyo seng. Bari comme nga fo nyami nata e permanent secretary kendo soto. Mi e londo soto Local Government Act.
Ha.
Mi fane londo soto Finance and Audit Act.
Ha.
Tenu no nyim problem min kata Brikama ta kela. Because Londi team, Londi soto balialo.
From the permanent secretary in your side.
Ani minister.
Ani minister.
Ani minister be.
Okay.
Fengo keta area council. Kabirim baro sita up to today. Minister nano mini be sita.
Ha.
You know the minister nani nyam.
Ha.
Permanent secretary mini be sita kono.
Ha.
Kilinti je mi alonko kabin tolonga yimbuko da 2002. Anin kabiringa fulandi nyo falanda 2004 ya tamandi.
So niko ma tamandi mamune muna mamune exactly, can you be specific? Kato, that is really serious to say ko all these 4 ministers min ketano minister di kabirin baro local government they don't understand the act. So e mantara tamandi ka, what specific areas ma wala tamandi?
Amume belo because nying act nying ala last 2 pages you can follow the functions of area councils.
Okay.
What functions of area councils will clean to Jamie along Kabatamaka.
Okay.
Yes. I don't want to go in details.
Yeah.
But coming, Buko attending Yami, Nico functions of area councils, functions.
Is that the second schedule or something?
Schedule 2, part 2.
Part 2. Okay.
Functions. Local functions and service of central government. Right?
That's the separation of the two.
Exactly.
The separation of the two.
Separation nebi.
Okay.
So wala nanko. Minu keta permanent secretary wala te keta minister ti. Alondo lo table. Ñu wonte min keta Brikama amanye na kela.
Mune nyanta kela Brikama.
Comme in case min kono tenti min keta yin conflict of interest.
Ha.
Okay. Member buko nyin kono atandi ko ning devolution of power nyin fon sotota nung correctly silo it can mean a bypass from the central highway. Council is the area administrator. Council is all under the jurisdiction of the council area.
Very councils, yeah.
Hanni mansafon sulata lan naje aba akkono ko 46-47 acquisition of land by agreement or acquisition of land by compulsory. Naming and infrastructure development of the whole area. Fengo femba kelaje, it should be from the permission by the council. You understand? So silo sila dunda council area la jurisdiction on yunkono. Council is responsible. Amanke NRA, amanke police. They have no business with it because councils by now they should all have what you call sweepers.
Yeah.
In motorway sweepers. Minka garbage and everything. Yeah. Clear every day. What about caring in Europe?
So you come in for Wolonko, you mean be caring Brikama, Natran Lua da Malom, NRA Manana Tarlanunje.
No.
Council le Tamila Marcel. It told the Tamila Silo. Near Mols in the Dauda, I told him that.
Abanin no color.
Yeah, it's true. That's what I was trying to tell
that's what you were saying.
Abanin no color.
It's clearly spelled out there. I don't understand why NRA is going. That's why I say.
And is this the reason why Yankuba Dabo said, I'm suing them?
He knows that.
Because he knows this is what is in the law.
Exactly.
So you see, definition of secondary road. Yalom primary road, yalom highway. Secondary road, that is a being devolution by central government. Because councils, honeybee, they are still semi-autonomous.
Yes.
Email a full control of devolution and mass.
Yes.
Because of the permanent secretary and the minister, they don't know it. I think you get my point.
I
now.
understand.
Near long, tend to know conflict of interest at a killer in problem will be. Because health, agriculture, everything is all on the councils in the area. Mining, everything, natural resource, everything.
This brings me to a question, because Brikama Area Council, during Governor Bojang Lataimo, they wanted an area, Kabriya Marcel Boye Musola Taradalta. They wanted an area, mi alonko ko la faka jedoku, puruka Marcel Ningo Kela Musoleje, ya kumaska doko ke jefa la identify, Governor Yesafe letter. One letter was out. Kafoiko ye doko stop jemu itolma dealer. Now you saying this makes it look like.
No, but as he's rightly saying, to some extent, it's well defined in the act. Konga Memfwe market and the roads. No, I'll tell you specifically because in case more specifically,
yes,
the market is definitely for the councils. All right, and even the roads, even the roads is in the schedule. I think it's second schedule, so I can't remember. It's in the schedule. Councils, let's regulate even license D, and even the erection of stalls. Part or the whole part of the road it's okay no. NRS in Menkeno, this is what I call ultra various because it's beyond their authority. What they can do is you have a road neighbor design specification like the width them and things like that. That's fine. But can administer and what you do there, council duality. And whatever the case, even if you have an issue with the land, with the road or the congestion there, go and talk to the guys. Talk to them and plan properly. And if I say planning, you have to look at first the jurisdiction required in terms of the legality of the policy and the policy content itself for a beneficial. Because in road exercise fund, it has some economic implications.
Yes.
Funga alone sign for later because the poverty rate is very high.
Yes.
All right. At one time it was around 53%, and in areas like Brikama it was as high as 76%. Now it is poor people. You will do and you still insisting there is a benefit. What kind of benefit apart from the aesthetics? How about more balu? And government la purpose mu development and more development na fe in terms of academics and things like that. More la balu e sonya, more la balu e better. Cost of living and the standard of living. So what is happening to these guys? You are making life more expensive for them. Their standard of living is going down because income of the society has to know. That's a fact. What will change all that's not politics. All right? More you plead now and sometimes civic society documentary in the 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Some cabinet by Yaju more complete nyame. Maybe we be balafala Yaju because leadership means empathy. Inyante ya long mol sulo menti la bata damu menti and you listen to them. This thing has been going on and on and on. Ibuka long for objective really objective.
And exactly I said this, Mr. Jammeh, For example, when I watch and I invited some victims, you listen to them. At some point I stopped even sending my camera crew to cover this because for example, last one kabringaje nata yena mola marseto yela sirangol chikata terango bulako na yafara. You could have told them adundila konoto. But yela bagasol tinya. And then musol mini alongo musol dol baflantol kana dinongola karamol do yeran kanyineke. I thought, okay, it's good to have our roads clear, but there should be proper planning. And I think from the onset, this was not properly planned.
No, it wasn't.
Number one, the councils should be engaged so that they can come together and create temporal settlements for vendors. But ite mola baludula ya wulindi jeman dula diala ikombe banko nyinyandila. In this day and age, Number one, that I think for me, I looked at it as that was the number one problem from the start.
Look at the timing itself.
Yeah.
You want to come back just before, a couple of days before Salon.
Before Salon.
What do you expect?
After taking such a break.
I'm telling you, I find it a bit sadistic, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And chairman, chairman, Yankuba, I think, you see, that's the whole thing about democracy. Amanchoko is a challenge or anything. You fine-tune democracy by going to the courts to interpret the law. I lose or you win. But you go there, I could clarify. And I think he should. You don't sue government as an entity. Because let's say government boy, a compensation you. It comes from the taxes of those people may by. So therefore, for member in the field giving the order, to the guy with the sledgehammer should be sued. That's my concept.
That's true.
So that there should be some amount of responsibility in executing orders.
Orders like that.
So I hope he thinks about that, and let's see what happens out of that.
Okay. What the court says. Yeah, Mr. Jammeh.
Yalo nyimbe mu karam da balial. Nyajanko then start from the high level. You will conscious enough. Mimbe nyimbuko kono. Po tenu nyinku takela. Because nintele biye, I'll make sure I'll have what you call in-service training. Because all these councillors and these chairpersons, they are all newcomers.
Yes, most of them. Yes.
So, kana for interval loyalty, so nga area council tama nyangalon. That's not the issue.
That's not there.
Because it tama to cool dollar, warning lua I mean for a monkey killing. Because councils are responsible to rubbish, dialect, anything on the road.
Yes.
Within the area of jurisdiction. Right?
Yeah.
It will collect.
It all
Because most of these things, you have what you call penalties and offenses. Prohibited. Right?
Yeah.
Ning mini banyato ni along. Ko nyili munyu commerce nyoleti. Conflict of interest kana soto kuo nyinkono. Tenunu, either the minister will have to talk to the Minister of Interior. Katandia lako. Nying luale bena council bull ibaminna inyanta was stop la because amanta luako. You understand what I'm saying?
But if we have a masala tamu land beti ba.
No.
Come, if I mean that's what they say, right?
Yeah, but there has been some amount of devolution of some of the functions of government. That is through local government. So need to go land base, itamunye land base, it would mean space na detail we are managed. Like the roads and the markets. That's very clear.
So wo fanan kono nying NRA because there was a time GRA, they were collecting these revenues from these markets and all these sort of things. Yeah, Jammeh time on behalf of council. Barabuka na muruika. Sand mining fanambuka na muruika.
Yeah.
You have me royalties.
Royalties, yes.
Will be bukachu. Right. You're bringing sila kuo infrastructure development of the area. The minister concerned or the permanent secretary concerned, anyanta atandile ko local authorities no blue. This is what we call self-internal government. It's a local government.
It's a government by itself.
It's a government by itself. So, loi le fanam buko badalaring, mi etol fanam surround. So intervention or intrusion into their territory must be by their own permission. Don't worry, central government is syllabal doku, but they have no business about the interior, what you call bypasses. Right? They have no, because council, and in Nawek Lame Polo, tax, they paid. Right? So, government do loku keleji. I make sure that I tax the contractor. He has to pay. Wo ferel be funda wati jamale kabiri nyin local service commission.
Yeah.
Afundita. Ko fa yo yara fan abin start no yara fan wol fana wol bina kulol be wanyar la sai. Wol ba keri inside. Bari ni atra nu misalem fe mimba luwanyi buko nyinto. They send a message to NRA. Send the same message to the Ministry of Interior. Tenunu nyinyo sabota kela.
Tonu nyinyo sabota kela, but
yes.
Is it possible ko fana nyimbu ko fana we need to look at it now? Because decentralization coming for among tarakere niajuwe when it comes to local governance, right? Mansakundala sembo mujama ko Yaya Jammeh wanted control of councils. Wala yatina loi dolbe na buksoto. We saw, in fact, Talib Nyol, they challenged the Supreme Court. Supreme Court had to change some of those things. And they have been advocating for some changes in the act. Number one, as the political head of a government, local councils, they cannot even appoint their own staff. It has to come from Masakunda. Like, and that's what we are seeing. Problem when they were caring, council commissioner, CEOs, finance directors, or accountants, because they are the ones that are responsible. It's like administration or tamandi. Now, if you are the political head of an institution, it's a nila agenda kana. If I'm elected as the chairman or the mayor, I sold an agenda to the people. Now, if you bring that agenda to the councils and you don't have a team that you desire, and you also team because the CEO is very powerful and you don't even have a say in their appointment. One, government is not a subvention. Now, that is why councils are very much lacking also in providing services to us, the people, because we also know most of the taxes, for example, GRA taxol ni billboards ni fengol be to la collect ni data hotel la fengol be GRL ka be collect, and these people be under these municipalities and they are residing there. La waste collection of a municipality care service will be provide, but they're not paying these taxes, they're paying it to GRA. So, and GRA is supposed to give it to them, and all of those complexities be jail. What is the honey chairman in the Tamala or a mayor in the Tamala aka approval in the minister level? So all of these things create, and then it is still there. Do you think that we need to look at our laws as we speak now? We need to look at our local government act. No, the laws regarding
the act is very clear. It's just the political will to implement what is in the act. We're lacking that. And during the time of Jammeh, he was dictatorial. He abused all those powers. And he had a political agenda. For example, as I said, this act started with this EU program of decentralized thing, and that's culminated in them going to tender about to formulate this law. Now, it was one of the best laws as far as EC was concerned. But Kabing Jammeh go to more like Kontelewe KMC, and he didn't like the guy. So he started having second thoughts. That's when he started implementing some of these things over the law. All right. Now, in concerning the CEO and things like that, no, they report directly to the chairman, and also to the council. So it's not to the minister. Well, in the final analysis, the CEO in Brikama had to give up, give in, because Yankuba knows what he knew what he was saying. You know, he reports to him directly, and it's to the council. And in council, any resolution against him is binding legally.
Fine.
So what be jail? So, but maybe yes, the political will put kanyang
Sorry, we were having issues with Nawek. Nawek ñëwaat ko ne ko men ajahalo warta. But yeah, we were still talking about councils,
the appointments.
The appointments.
Yeah.
CEOs, the chair,
like
the chairman, the relation, because they still Masakundale ke appoint.
Yeah, appointment, yes. And they have these.
But even with KMC, when we had the issue, remember, the minister then council mang, even though they passed the resolution, pro suspend them for a time, government council mo sembosto.
But in terms of procedure, yes, into their local government
service commission.
Yes,
okay,
there's a provision.
There's a provision for that. Okay.
And again, there's always some politicking in that.
Yeah.
You can fast track that, or you can delay it.
Delay it, yes.
So there's always these political gimmicks that they play around all the time. Jammeh did it very well, and we seem to see something like that emanating in terms of, say, UDP mayors, and it shouldn't work like that. You know, it's unfortunate because for me, there should be some consistency in leadership. Because what like an integrity bill, integrity what like a confidence. When you start ila more tema, whether as institutions or as individuals, if fatam fanso na fere, like a problem they create. Not even for the country itself, but even for the management as a leadership, as leader. Ako problems they create, and understand. Do you have to wait for young people react to this way and Brikama position to negotiate? It's not necessary.
Not necessary.
You know, everybody was clamoring for that, but Dumoyu, because you thought you had all the powers, you could do what you want, but young people knew that he has the powers too. So do you have to start there? Because African leaders should be very careful. Because bad governance, mismanagement, it's like quicksand. The more you wriggle, the more you sink. You know, what I mean by that, I'll give you an example of Senegal. Macky Sall B, I couldn't bake for more fata because menkake, it's like quicksand. Near in try for open land, it comes to a point where it becomes fatal. Imagine what incident men at Brikama. I feel what more tear gas can use, sign tear gas can use. Have you done nothing? So that's why governance in terms of leadership, I don't see a rationalized candidate instead of going with the heart. You know, it's very, very important, and sometimes we see that a lot. You know, you go to Brikama, that's not the issue. The issue is really trying to work hand in glove with the council, because it's a constitutional requirement, as he said. Section 193 of the Constitution requires that local government administration should be derived democratically elected councils. You know, that should be the basis for the government. Then you go to section, I think 214, which also says that government will endeavor so that they'll have a system of governance that is, you know, with devolution and decentralization of some of their functions to the people to strengthen governance. Then one of the objectives they used in forming that act was the Vision 2020, where again it's the same thing, participation, so that they will have local governance strengthened democratically. So it's derived from the Constitution and derived from policy. So, but then implementing it, you see, where you share authority, always, you are giving away something. For example, you are giving me part of your authority. Because then some of your staff be like, Mr. Komma, you know, because they think I have that authority. So because of central government fearing authority, especially political influence and things like that, they don't have the will of devolution completely. What a problem since you are at time and it's still persisting. Yeah, but then as I said, in democracy, you fine-tune it by going to courts. Let them go to court. We've seen the case of governors. You know, it's not a question of Kongame, it's not a question of winning or losing a case.
It's challenging.
Exactly, so that the law could be interpreted properly and it's very clear to everybody. You know.
Mr. Jammeh,
yes.
What do you think of, Tonya council say independence authority when it comes to be able to effectively carry out their mandate?
Okay, let me start from where he left it. First about this appointment of these executive members of staff of councils.
Councils, yeah. From
Yalong
CEO.
in the act, say 125. Na yine keje ko. There shall be an established local service commission.
Yeah.
They shall be responsible for the appointment of high class of council, like the chief executive and the director of finance, as well as other principal, actors of council. That is, they shall also be responsible for the discipline of those appointees.
Yeah.
So, 2015, that section, interfere because of political interests. 2015 in October, there should be each local government area, local service commission. Will be established. I remember Mr. Barry of Brikama was chairman of West Coast Region Area Council Local Service Commission.
So every region their own service commissions?
Yeah, originally that was.
So it was for at least a period of about 2 years.
Okay.
It's renewable for only 2 terms.
Okay.
Then dole finance na. So what be yele, will the funk mole appoint, because money was sabu, that is giving power back to the people. Right. Because democracy coming by, for, and by the people. Ayanta kela wala nya. So wala na wo closing about maintaining.
Okay.
But 2015, the following preceding year, Jammeh bola. Inata wo close onying, inata interfere. Yake kahumeko Unified Local Service Commission. But wo fana yoke wato minna. Alin jenni webinala put into effect. Asunta kabirin council mamanta eko eba chief executive be resolution of pass la de mam se diallo pour ka bolti. It means from 2015 up to 2019. How many years? 4 years.
It's about 4 years.
Who wato le nata o service commission on activate. Right? But that happened in 2018. So they prolonged the matter again for Kenyan state up till following year. Amanda kwa ala retirement from it was long overdue. So that was one point. But aba established le nyaming wala nanka fo ko ning mansafota londi tiol. Ning problemolo sakono ko local government atabola doto. Foni wo man salo do nata mi ya realize ko tonya nyanta mol kata place to mol mini alon ko ya londo so wo problem wala nata kabiring sena Martin area council a resolution of pass adon ak nyin kono ku dantam nan da malbije bari council sonamba act la bari ibuka luanyi ibuka karang properly. Itol ka wala reko okay man la fikara mbata nga resolution of pass.
Okay.
Resolution of minefo. Sorry. Constitution on ying act nying kono.
Yeah.
There is not like you pass a resolution for the removal of a CEO or a director of finance. Amantarji.
Okay.
Akel dronko, abuse of office, misconduct, either unfit, like illness and that sort of thing.
But Imam wanted to remove the suspension because of misconduct. You are pending investigations.
Thank you, Fanan. Selam
Martin Taiwo.
It's the same case. Like this man. Thank you,
Brikama.
Brikama.
Yeah. Yeah, Jonga. Mr. Jonga, yes.
Yeah. Jonga.
Yes.
Right? Another director.
Another director be Moflo, yes.
So, act kono, me along ka nyanta kela permanent secretary.
Yeah.
Hele ata musol sambali the form of solicitor general.
Yes. Yes, Safi Sankara.
Na inata fa nyimfana sambaje fo Amar Balamba.
Ahmad Ba is the minister now.
Minister.
Yes.
Pasara Usman Sole bije always sickness la sutu.
Yeah, Musa Drame Benunje, then Abanata, then now Ahmad Ba.
Yin problem will be not. So yin acting Kabriya change, but the composition of the Unified Local Service Commission will fundamental in Silola. It was a selection by the ministry. Ngamara ni after unified killer.
Yeah.
All the 7 regions, each council should identify a representative to be part of the commission.
Makes sense.
Correct? Paramanke wonyam. It was just a selection of about 5 people. Many aloko they are all retired like myself. Can you more put in by the influence of the permanent secretary, all the mess that these councils are undertaking now, Mimbeka Funti revelations, at the local service inquiry. Amunda ko told the mal daba fully link with the permanent secretary. Because you are now talking in terms of millions.
Yeah.
If it is just $10 or $15, one can understand. But errors of 10 million fraud, that is unsustainable.
Yeah.
So new qualification requirements will mantaraji. But new politicians will find out what to mean. They didn't have a background. Because neither resolution of PASLA, you must have to have evidence to support it.
Yeah.
Yanta evidence la use la national numfanko ye a general audit report, national audit report. You all of them pass. Then one is that is understandable.
Yeah.
Then it can become effective. But a resolution as what you call a clause is not indicative in the Local Government Act. So wala nanko to my own opinion, bina mana fankela covering from part 1 for this last schedules nga bele review from pareta so left nyinela ikafme ko individual fanko ni kafa nyaril fan private bill.
Okay, private member bill.
Private member bill.
Yeah.
For this, some of these things, we are still becoming erroneous. Mistakes are happening every time and then. Councillors will find okay, we have the power, but then they are not following the regulations of the act. Especially when you come to this removal of the governors. Government was so quick to remove to redeploy the governors, but they didn't know there is a law which mandated the president to appoint a public servant.
Public servant.
Law in this one here, I indicate section 166 atandilo ko. The part of everybody's service and even the public enterprises, they are all known as what you call public service. They are all under the public service, except for the ministers appointed, for the president himself, plus the National Assembly members. All those are the people who are exempted to become civil servants of the public service.
Okay. But what about people that have never been in the people's because the argument that UDP took to the court also is saying governors should have a certain qualification. For example, you have to be a director level in the public service. You also have to have a certain, I don't know, I cannot be specific, qualification, but will be jail. And most of these people, they have not ever been even in the public service. For example, one of them just came from Europe, Anata, you appointed them. Most of them were political appointments, we all know. So they were not enrolled in the civil service. They have not been a civil service to the rank of directors. They were just appointed into the civil service and made governors. So yes, they're in the civil service now, but at the time of their appointment, what level were they? Were they directors? Were they even in the civil service? Did they meet the requirement? That is also important.
In fact, I wrote to that effect. Standard.
Standard, yes.
But I could tell me I'm contempt of the court, and I can contempt of the court because Dabo wrote a petition.
Yeah.
I'm a constitutional activist.
Yeah.
Femo Feyama at any of these places, I'll always give a response.
That's good. That's good.
Because it is proper for every citizen to defend the Constitution.
That's true.
No matter which area you belong to.
It's important.
You understand? It's all a challenge against the president. But Molam Fanaman Taraje, because he has Minister of Justice, he could have defended.
But he might move. It will defend a law.
No, I think there is some legal basis
for them to remove.
Yeah, no, for the claim actually that the UDP is making.
Yeah.
You know, he talks about the public service, but the public service is regulated by the PSC, Public Service Commission. You see, in democracy, institutions are very important.
Yeah.
And the institution is no more than the processes and procedures which have to be accountable and they have to be transparent.
Yeah.
So if you can have somebody who's taking subjective decisions just to make the appointments, it makes a bit murky.
Yeah.
You have a grade system in the service, you have to call. There was a time for Inamana move from one grade to another. There used to be some kind of exams.
Yeah.
It will be a bottery. It used to be the establishment of it, then you had the civil public service commission and things like that, and there are procedures of doing that. So Nima qualification also. What more create a permanent secretary? 15 years Martin
yes.
Yeah, then somebody from somewhere here will just pick up. You don't even know his education background, whether it's even adequate. You're okay to that position. Even some madame as I don't know, deputy secretaries or at the ministry. That's
deputy permanent secretary.
Yeah. Because the contention there is it could be a contempt of court because you had there is a process going on. Woman bang follow it America solved by taking. That's another legal issue that's being taken care of.
Yeah.
I think our problem is really is to be able to recognize and respect institutions. They are very important. Africa, we don't need strong leaders. We need strong institutions. For any democracy.
Yeah.
Actually, in America, an institution man strong. So these are some of the issues, really. It's rather unfortunate, but
Mr. Jammeh, you were talking about, the basis mirror when it comes to legal.
Yeah, because I have to write against it.
Yeah.
Because I always quote from the law.
Okay.
Yeah, 166.
Yeah.
Subject to an act of the National Assembly, the public service of the Gambia shall comprise the civil service. It will a legal motion on you file. These people are not part of civil service, right? As established immediately before this constitution comes into force. Subject to the Constitution, acts of the National Assembly may provide to the establishment and regulation of separate public services of the Gambia, which may include common services of the staff of local government.
But the issue is the position, the public service commission position, like the
position of the governor.
Exactly, is the position.
I think what they are challenging is the position of the governor.
No, I'm coming.
Okay.
Let me just read. Let me just read.
Okay.
The appointment or election of a competent authority for the administration of a particular public service.
Okay.
Public service is generality.
Generality, yeah.
If you are appointed, you become a civil servant, right? So there is that little bit of technical error of law, because anybody appointed by the president, he took it from this law here.
Yes.
As to be a member of the civil service.
Yeah.
You understand? So again, he said, I mentioned in this constitution, the public service does not include the office of the president, vice president, speaker of the deputy speaker of National Assembly, minister, or a member of the National Assembly.
Okay.
So, the category here at Taniloko, which may include common services of the staff of local government authorities, and those are the governors.
Yes.
Anyway,
Those are governors, but to be specific,
so the qualification also.
Neither the governors la qualification.
No. It's not specified here in the law here.
It's not specified there.
It's not there.
Okay.
It only says, right? There shall be an area administrator for each local government area, and who shall be a senior civil servant appointed by the president.
Senior civil servant.
that's correct. Anyway,
Who is a senior civil servant?
The person he is going to appoint.
Yeah. But the thing is, now, these things, who among these people was a senior civil servant the time they were appointed?
No. You see, the English language there
Yeah.
shall be,
It shall be a
or
senior.
not must.
Yeah.
It
well,
shall be.
Shall be.
It shall mean
Please.
it has to be.
It has to be.
It's obligatory.
It's
But anyway,
shall.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Interesting.
appropriate.
Interesting. I look forward to seeing what, but I also think government, the way Tariata changes,
I don't know.
they also understand because there were some errors.
No. Wala nang koy ko. Yalong, honey loyal phone. Sometimes they have these technical errors.
Yes, they do.
Because interpretation on you flow in D. People gauge that together.
Okay.
For it will payment the removal of the governor as well.
Yeah.
Coming by being against her.
Yeminga.
It means about the lawsuit.
Yeah.
That's not, they didn't follow the procedure.
It will from procedure follow.
Procedure follow.
Okay.
You have here also what you call the removal of the governor, right? You see it? What's it again? Removal of the area administrator. It shall come from the council. They have to petition or send a letter
To the council.
No. The council have to send a letter to the president for the removal of the governor.
So meaning the president himself cannot do it.
No. Council lenyanta, instead of going to court, they should follow the act. That's the procedure here.
Oh, okay. Oh, UDP nyanta wala kina. That's the act.
Exactly.
Okay.
Anyway, this thing.
So you see the problems.
It's in court, so I wouldn't want to.
Interesting.
Well,
I wouldn't express any.
Interesting.
About that.
Interesting, but even though this is the problem with Gambia, I always tell people, Gambia da male ka for case be court in Kanafo.
Well, normally, it's just some kind of ethical
phone call, yeah.
So,
but this is very interesting.
It is interesting,
Yeah.
But as I said, the whole way of fine-tuning democracy is to challenge issues in the law courts.
Yeah.
So that you can have them interpreted and you know exactly what.
And this is the thing that I said last week. I said,
sorry, Section 5 of the Constitution. You can challenge things at the law court. Yeah, understand. Coming, Lord, a petition about the appointment of this, how do you call it, ambassadors and so on.
Yeah.
No financial challenge.
No financial challenge.
Yes.
Really?
Not challenge. I use the same constitution.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Because Nilibe Dada, near Yemba Unkanyimbeke is because angels. This new one, you see this?
Yeah.
What is that?
Certificate, Constitutional Review Commission. Certificate of Revision. Okay. Constitutional Review Commission. Okay. Yeah.
I was in one of the subcommittees of this.
So, in Kumu, Niajan Kanyilibe challenge,
The draft. This is the draft.
This is the draft.
Yeah, that's the draft.
Mintara National Assembly. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
So, Mimbe Yinkono, Amutoko, Mimbe Banyinkono, Nabel review. But in Tolanga Minke, countrywide, even abroad, consulted everybody.
Yeah.
It told me for a Jolon tenting. I was the transcriber at the State House.
Okay.
In two time, call at ne injolo. But he be sold a couple 2 time. I have the records.
Yeah.
National Assembly, the same thing. All the politicians, they all agreed to 2 time.
Okay.
Yeah, you all come. Yeah. So, inata luala Carola. I'm not a lawyer.
Yes.
But at least I have done what you call arbitration law. Because I have my master's in structural engineering, not civil. Yeah, understand. So, Fengo Fenata coming on the side of law, all activist.
Okay.
I can always stand to challenge it.
To challenge it. Okay.
I'll challenge it.
Yes. Okay. No, but that is interesting. But let's look at now, you know, we're still on local government issues. Commission of Inquiries, Now, when the commission came, I was one of those people who said, look, this is a political range hunt. Because obviously what time or elections can happen. And we all believe, me included, I've said this so many times on this platform, there were so many audit reports in the National Assembly from the office of the president to all these offices, but none of them attracted government's interest to take it to a commission. But the commission of inquiry was set up for local councils.
Yes.
Now, I think it is good. At this point, before I looked at it as a political vision, but now it's giving us an insight as to how councils from Katama Nyame and Nintinyaro Ninka council and why councils are not effective for the people. But I encourage me fanana wolonko fali wonyanta kelale when it comes to administration of councils because nkabimbe mweje man chairman kilim mweje or mayor kilim mweje.
No, they are not accounting officers.
They are not accounting officers.
No.
And this is what,
signatories
when I interviewed each and every one of them on this chair, they said, you will never hear us there. Because that is not, we don't touch money, we don't see money.
No.
We only go and seek for approval from council called Laftanyina Dokula. Nimpareta nkadi CEO nala molela.
It's policy. It's just policy. Just like minister and the permanent secretary.
But do you think, from what we are hearing from this commission of inquiry, councils? Okay. Councils say work for the people. They are not.
Before you go there, you're thinking that the objection you made earlier on was wrong. No, it wasn't, because you were questioning the timing.
The timing, yes. I was questioning the timing, yes.
I think most people did. I did the same thing. I thought maybe it's the wrong timing.
Yeah.
But again, going back to the SDRD program, there was this arrangement for capacity building within the councils. And the program sponsored quite a few guys. I wouldn't want to name names, but they sponsored quite a few guys. Many are like CEOs, capacity degree holders and things like that. That was the whole program.
Yeah.
You know, so but near just saying the level of capacity member council, really the level of qualification is extremely low. Now we're following and the you know, you start training people so that they can be up to the level Mayalunko is required to do these things. Because councils, they do have a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
One aspect of their responsibility is planning and development for the people.
Yeah.
And already structures from BGLA, like VDCs, ward development. The whole idea about that is those people were supposed to be trained. Alongside Nundo, this program, SDRD, train on how to prepare plans. Development plans for their villages, going to the ward level, going to the council.
Yeah.
You know, you know, so what capacity for from that level, grassroots level of training to the level of the CEO to have that real academic qualification to be there.
Yeah.
For example, having people like Yankuba Dawo as a lawyer, that's fantastic.
Yes.
You know, for the more Bukasawala.
Yeah.
But say you have people, that's what we need at the council level, because it's a mini government. They should be responsible. And in this global kind of politics, you need to be aware of a lot of things. You know, but look at the Jammeh government, ministerial members, that type of quality. Let's face it.
That is,
all right, go down to the directors. So that's what we need.
Every Wednesday, 2 masters, 3 masters, director level.
I'm telling you.
No. Because they don't have that qualification. And they
look, dunia falim battle.
Yeah.
So okay. when I heard that our minister was going to, is it the minister or Ministry of Trade going to negotiate some trade?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious, because we are going to meet somebody, maybe somebody with a doctorate, double man, and things like that. What can you talk about? It's very difficult. You don't even have the technical backing to do that. You know, so but it's good. We have a neighbor that is moving forward.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will drag us along, because just recently I told in fact, starting with fertilizer before.
Fertilizer, they gave 52%. Biye mano, kabo mano, tulo, hani internet o ya be datala.
Hani cemento.
Ya tala, eko land mi alonko, ya be Bamurun, ya tamburkat. All that land, how many hectares from other areas, they are going to give it back to the people. Now the local Senegalese can live by the seaside.
So now,
so
Gambians have something to compare with, because if I tell you, UDP program is very similar to PASTEF, very similar, extremely similar, you know, in everything. So now the people of this country can have a comparison to make between that, because UDP has been claiming for this for a long time, but nobody has been listening. Maybe they think most of them, they are labeled as angry or something like that, but these are different. Now you have a government that's implementing something like that. In agriculture, they are putting in 10%. UDP 5-point agenda, 10% agriculture. And all these things are based on research facts by World Bank and multilateral agencies, because, for example, if you put in 10% investment in agriculture, you get a return of 30 to 40% in reducing poverty. So among a consent, and it's the basis to industrialization. But it will book our time also. So I think maybe new activity there will start us reorientating ourselves in terms of proper national economic development. Because recently, Jamfana, angare fertilizer order 28,000 tons, and the other by $50. Fine, I've seen that, that's not the issue. But again, the management. So ning wala ben lead like I had a friend menko ni man dalo soto ikatalo mole bala me dalo na e punsa Nigeria sadika. So
I think I hope that happens. Mr. Jammeh, yeah, but yeah, you are right. That's important. Let's look at the Commission of Inquiry before I have to come back to these land issues.
Okay.
The Commission of Inquiry in the Kega.
In fact, coming ngana dia mo kumas no nyame. Ne londi tol to Komma. Come Mr. Komma nyol banyame. Ite hamo min ko kuti. E kamela ko abetara tra atolta. Because nyimpla sifal tubabulu ni lefta lo kola. Ntolni personal, ntolna kanyo tampon job centers. Why? Because only advantage than us. Nintolo ba so lang kasoro ulia lokon. Because job centers e kenyi ninkale. Do you have the experience? Not the qualification. They first seek for your experience. Experience carries a weight. But silang, ntola yang, ima experience soto, ima education of finance.
Grata.
Come wala katanya, come ikan being topic coming kono about this governors and so on. Yeah. Barangaja fanangko, kake kafne ko selective choice lomdrom. At least malefnga nga be for the karu bao mantra politiko kono.
Yeah.
Bangado ko is maybe now we talk about appointment of minority.
Yeah.
Not the majority.
Minority.
Kung ya me fana iminkeno.
Yeah.
Malefnga luwa kumukukan.
No, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, understand. So but wolfana nibe kesenna appointments. Mune nyanta kela. It has to pass through the National Assembly for vetting and censoring. In all the developing countries, the right people to the right place, but not the wrong people to the right place. what can avoid? Because Neiman screening sorono, the government go background checks. It has been okay, man, uncle Kaye. Is going to be more damage. So advance the Kenola. Because all ambition of Mininet Bronco, Palasol Bembul. Either there is progress or there is retrogress, he doesn't care. Now you come to about this issue about this inflation.
Yeah.
Coming here, I mean, a bit, no? It is in the act.
Accumulate photo.
Ako, because we develop what you call financial and accounting manual. Meaning the directions or guidance dealer, the promulgation of council the financial activities. Ako, first factors, poverty. How to alleviate poverty is part of it. Then whether there is poverty, there is whether continuous prevalence of poverty, right? Or whether there is what they call a vulnerability to poverty.
Yeah.
It's the responsibility of the council to look into all these issues. Then you have what you call resource base. Yeah? What are the potentials? That's the commercial side and also the tourism side. But Jamalaba Alondo Fountain Lake, yeah? Because by now, I'll make sure all the councils, a company called council tax. I was just listening to BBC yesterday. Labour is now propagandering they are going to increase council tax.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, here in the Gambia, it's a poor country. When you want to reduce poverty, or you want to at least challenge inflation, the councils, they have what you call this property tax. Revenue-based Bolkan. Right? Killing. You cut it. Because tariff ministry Canada, you cut it. That is, you give them the instruction saying, Allah tariff because we want to overcome this inflation. 2, austerity measures. Staff all mineral baby use can. Some councils about near Jibe, 200 or 300 people collecting.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it will come in collect is all abused. Right? So you have to use that austerity measures, at least you cut the staffing.
Yeah.
Because it's not essential. That's number 2. Number 3, you have to cut the license that these commercial traders are paying. But in agreement with them saying within this area of jurisdiction, we are going to cut your license tax. Right? Baratul fanang alla firifeng da alba jintilale. That's another approach. And you can also invite GRA, right? Ministry of Trade. You look for what you call government subsidy. Minika import ke.
Yeah.
Make sure any will fane kacha katandila ko. Anyway, na councils nyol dal left because we've now starting to cut all the revenue taxation. Babila reduce la. So saying atul fana importers left government put by subsidy deal. Minika fuelo sambana ya kuntu. Yela subsidy jord. Minika imported rice and all those other condiments, consumable foods, a subsidy ke will bail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Umang government among fema fene tinye bulu. Because what subsidy are consolidated funds letter, isn't it?
Yeah.
So ni wonata as part of what you call the poverty alleviation strategy. Iba jalal ko comme ila ukumo memfo like that policy to reduce poverty. Then the councils will have a role to play in it because it's already enshrined in the financial manual accounting system. It's already enshrined there. Because wherever council comes in for subsidies, it means it's not going to be coming way wasted. Ninko waste, amandako, so many things, projects are being implemented, they are not even finished. Some of them, they don't, even they allocate $500,000 for these councillors or ward councillors. It's not even in the act.
What development?
Because the thing is, I've just discovered, like Basse, and it's all coming to all councils now, where you allocate 500,000 for every ward, right? Now.
But before we look at resolution, let it come pass because doesn't the act give them powers to pass resolutions on certain things that they want to do?
No. The problem here is since the establishment of this act, right? These bills, there is no council. Me, I can make a bylaw. Pass.
Bylaws. Bylaws also.
Atike.
Oh.
Atike. Atike.
Wow.
It's the think tank capacity. Atike. A resolution coming pass a caribon. That's all. And there is not a bylaw.
But even ila Fenkol, I did see though, even ila work plans so they can approve through a bylaw, through a resolution. For example, we have a resolution to do this and this and this. Council approved to work on this project. Council approved to do this. Council approved to allocate this amount to councillors to do village development projects. So I think these things are approved by the council because if it is not approved by the councillors, the finance department or the CEOs cannot act on it, right? It has to be approved by the council.
Now the danger there is, you have this what you call financial and accounting manual.
Yeah.
There are prohibitions and restrictions based on spending of the revenue.
Okay.
Right? But in the what you call local government act, coming at least to make sure that you provide or make provisions for development of wards.
Okay. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But then it cannot be direct.
It cannot be direct.
It cannot be direct.
Okay.
Because being hapunta base.
Yeah.
Ngole kibaro soto. Councilor is a signatory to the accounts of that ward. And the ward chairman is also, he is the chairman of the ward, of course. But you have another secretary or somebody else in that ward as the second secretary, second signatory to the accounts of that ward, that ward. Corruption or kana ward, tinyandiro kana ward. Because every councillor, National Assembly Banyame, they have no right to sign checks. Right? They have no right to give contract away. Everything should be done by the contract award committee.
Yeah.
But not councillor as an individual because of you have been provided with this $500,000. Corruption on inquiry member funding. Some of the projects are not even completed. Some are not even feasible.
Yeah, but most of the corruption on Kaminje, the mismanagement is obviously from the CEOs and finance directors. Number one, revenue collectors.
No, from the councillors.
Yeah, and councillors also.
Yes.
But the major ones, for example, what we have seen, the major council Jumala Brikama, councillors.
Yes.
Okay, I have not seen the councillors. I've seen the chairman one and the finance director from that end, and the collectors, revenue collectors. But in my wildest dream, I cannot believe how
councillors
can
It's about this 500,000 word for allocation.
Okay.
Was it given to them directly, or was it an allocation to the ward?
They are not even. They are even given. Let's say you have that allocation. Chief Executive Officer Abaka withdraw.
Okay.
Finance Director Abaka withdraw. Councilor Nala, Councilor the ward people will withdraw. That is what you call socialism. We are not looking into that. You understand? Everything has to be spent by the council indirectly.
Yeah.
You understand? But then the people of the world, they have a say. Okay, another allocation of minken silo membado kuka. Anyway, alia contract ko mintai. Amandu ko ama sambanya ama correctly. Then they can change.
Yeah.
And even there is a procedure, what you call procurement. Anything above 20,000 has to go by the procedure.
Contracts committee.
GPPA.
Yeah.
So Wolfanamba Momo Tala Purko Lokuoke, he has to get this GPPA certificate.
Yeah.
But Wolbutake. Come in that Tom Lonyami. Tom Ayo, Namo could have taken Boon Lolaja. Naya Makwe. Amanda Cosa, but I intending Tom Letem. Kodobarari. Manayama Loko of the Lava.
So this is not just the local government. We just have a glimpse of what is happening in our country.
Yeah. Procedures.
Knowledge.
It's an institutional problem.
It's an institutional problem.
Exactly.
Last week, 2 weeks ago, obviously, in Ajile, Loptanot, our main referral hospital, when the board chair came up with accusations, and there are accusations, there are rumors that go, there were monies paid to officials of the hospital in millions to procure items for the hospital. How can that ever happen in any society? Personal account investigation there is some element of truth to Minketa chairman Leafo. Bofola, deputy director general, deputy medical director Bondi, ya samba leafla and finance that investigation ola. Bari ala boss yo boyle imokuto nade. Meaning ko fende be kerinje. But minister for lota meeting otako, this guy me ko nyimfintindi me wo kam fatale because of allowance so mintala wala kam fa. But hanna tra kam fata allowance kola I kumo min for womu in millions and millions leti. I don't think the minister should ridicule that person in the platform. Much more, ika kuonying fendil dal ko amanke kuku marinut. But procurement ni nyimbanko fe ofen batinya procurement processes te. So mimbe keka local government sign a commission auto is just a little glimpse of mimbe caring in general bank of.
Yeah, no problem. Corruption is so systemic in this country.
Yeah.
To do so and to take problem and procurement is one way, whether it's in public service or in private. It's the one way of cheating. It's one way of being corrupt, whether procuring services, works, or goods. Because and the higher the value of the goods or service, the higher the margin of corruption can be.
Exactly.
So imagine you are building a road for $100 million. The propensity there of corrupting is very high.
Yeah,
it's different from if you are buying a box of matches.
Yeah.
It inflate no wanyama. So all that in millions all keta because that's the easiest way for jama BJ.
Exactly.
So that's one thing. We have to fight corruption at all levels. There is an institutional problem, and coming back to the council, it's a question of capacity again.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about these taxes and licenses and things like that. If I tell you, there is no proper yardstick being used or qualified person to make any property assessment right now. You need a valuer to do that. They don't have any qualified valuers. So virtually it's almost subjective. And in fact, there should have been a revaluation of properties. Exactly. Yeah, but then challenge, they have no basis really. Because for any property valuation, it has to be equitable. It has to tackle 8,000, you get 2,000, you get 10,000. Yeah, because there is a basis.
And the fact that they can value kilometer 10 years ago and psychology. Because they out of there, they can't. They are losing so much money out there.
Exactly, they can't. They don't have qualified valuers.
Yeah, it reminds
when
me.
I was in the lands of you, we set up the valuation unit. Mr. Barry Wolfuta, we trained them. After that, there was none. Since then, valuative.
It reminds me actually.
It's very unfortunate. We have a lot of problems in this country, institutional. But unfortunately, we have a government also. Mayor Longo is always burying the head in the sand. They pretend nothing is wrong, and they come out with, whether it's plausible or not, they come out with excuses. Like this case of the medical issue. Instead of talking about the problem. Okay, let's even assume the guy was angry. But does that change the fact that
there was something going on?
People can understand.
Imagine fire investigation or attract.
Exactly.
The fact that you had to remove the head and his deputy and the finance director. That only shows confidence.
But talk about that. And previously, he once stood Kafuko to Attila Ministry corruption in the house. So unless you come out frankly and face up to these problems and challenges, and instead of avoiding them for political gain or trying to hire media to give you the impression that you are doing a good job, that's not the issue. It solves nothing.
It reminds me about this land allocation issue. It reminds me because I need topic of maternity.
I want to come there, the land allocation.
I work topical. Coming, you have lands office, physical planning, in the evolution of power data, health, agriculture, geology, community development, physical planning, I don't know what it's called again, energy. All have to be education, all have to be transferred to council within its area of jurisdiction. Council binamana lola ko advisory committee. In each of these sectors, work committee will oversee to do the implementation and the development of that particular sector. Baraman soto, but I mean matenting, land issue coming. Ite kata minister ite kata minister membota ye ite ko le file o map killing iko do fana wo fenete mi alonko alba find out la yo nga publication do je membota National Assembly la deputy bulu ka foko mobe allocate land na nyaming president fana nyanta land store la nyam, which is quite wrong.
It's wrong?
Yes.
For President Omanke Bangu Dingot.
No. Excuse me. Excuse me. Killing. Ita keno la Jojoti. Eke loyati. Killing.
Okay.
Fula. Kabiri ya Jammeh tumo kabira establishment of university law.
Ha.
Mana tell man ka chancellor deba.
Ha.
Woyen takelal ba up to now.
It's up to now, President and Chancellor.
So you see, that's the African mentality.
So if you go President land of
because by the Constitution, you shouldn't have any other business or institution. You only have to concentrate on your presidential powers. You understand?
NPP, Sidinja Eco, I mean, I kind of
every individual
I kind of believe that in that Leko, Ndefature te o Mr. Komma o mbesita no lands office nga land apply as citizens because in the rights to the car apply. So President land apply.
No.
Can I ask one question? Do you think if you had applied for that place, they would give it to you?
No, they will not.
Exactly. There's the question of morality, ethics, and about the whole issue.
Exactly.
And there's the legal aspect too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Two legal aspects you can derive from that.
Okay.
There's one aspect in the Lands Act, I think in schedule, one of the schedules.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody who has property and has never been allocated by government, but has more than 2 properties, whether they are freehold or leasehold, cannot be allocated.
Oh.
It's there. I think number 5.
Hanatra government ma allocate
Yeah.
Bari fansun ko rae fula soto.
You can,
land.
And this guy declared in 20.
Jammeh,
I think it's 2021. He declared about 7 properties.
7 properties. So definitely he should.
Exactly. Now the other thing. Legally is the constitution, I think it's section 68(1). This says that the president shouldn't use information entrusted to him to enrich himself. It's inside trading, so that you know this place is there, so therefore you go and ask for it.
Abijel.
Wow.
So these are the
president should not use
information entrusted to him to enrich himself.
Or even business.
And that is not only the president, it goes all across the board.
All appointments, all appointees.
And the ethical aspect of this is going to set precedents. See and argue if other ministers and directors are applying for all the government properties in Cape Point. Note it down.
But we have heard that before. Argument from a PS. Most of the ministers have been allocated at the Bruford Heights. No,
government layout only.
Okay.
You can layout creately. And the near layout create, there are certain conditions and criteria and some of them are listed in the schedule I've told you about. And one of them is this: you can't be allocated property in those layouts for that. When you move government property, government time it is allocated for the Chief Justice. It's the president. You can't do it. You need to apply it. Exactly. And the minister apply, maybe by following the government. Where's the equity? Where's the morality about? Where's the ethics about that? And I'm saying there's going to be precedents because you wait and see whether you win here. Some other ministers keep point baby firing in government property, sir. Now you be afraid to allocate that. That's my favorite. But let's see whether the precedents
there's a possibility there.
You know, you see, institutions and leadership is very important. Africa but and bakele. Na problem tata na tolem. Look, to babol man karanti. Man experience on. We go to the same university, very likely from a university in Toleke Buteje. But he be yal doku kanne. There is a story that I heard from some president or so of East Africa. Ako minister of works another delegation itata Asian country dole. Kabri tata je after that ala counterparty invite ala suokon. Very nice building, reasonable swimming pool and everything. So the guy was very impressed. Akai ko ite nying soto nyadi le ite ni la salary. My veranda too, and behind the veranda there was a highway there. Bleak motor betambela fit. Okay, you see that highway? Okay, yes. Okay, 95% there, 5% here. Okay, really? Okay, very good. I said a couple of years, upon our counterpart invite. The Manson back Olympic size swimming pool. Yeah. Can you guys barilla yung guy is a It's a dusty road.
Yeah.
Okay, you see that road? 5% there, 95% here. That's the problem with African leadership. Corruption is happening 100%. Everywhere. But it can't limitless. And when I start a fast system, it kicks back.
And I've said this and I keep saying it. I think it's about time when it comes to living in the sea view area. Land sang at the sea view. You lose your property because this is TDA. TDA, let it TDA, la mark TDA. But mind you, they allocate these TDA to real estate people, will the apartments okay, yeah, wafi at a cost that you and I cannot afford.
Yeah.
Only the rich and the elite can afford it. Now, what they're doing is depriving us, the ordinary citizen, in living in the prime TDA because nothing got. Nothing more than me along I land some years back. TDA. But the same area, yeah, the real estate more like the more local day. Barate fota. Recently, ngaje Jammeh land ul mini along ko yeta. Iba allocate kam molia, dolia, iba thinking. I saw today Senegal. Some of the President Jammeh Patata, because he was in the MPO tax division, he knew what was going on in these land issues. Atata Murkat, there were thousands of hectares were illegally allocated. Beta, and some other areas. B, when they were announcing the price cuts, they also announced land beta in Burkat. Ibabe bill to low income earners. This is what governments do.
It's leadership.
That
it's all about
Hanna danta woda mala katandira banku dingole ko ale value sotol. Atol finance sino bada atole kom koditiol casino jenya. When will we have something like
leadership? It's leadership. That's nothing else. The institutions are there, the laws are there, everything is there. It's the leadership.
Yeah.
Look at the Jammeh, what he did. Mola Dula Beta.
Yeah.
And this TDA thing, physical planning plan, a master plan of this country, Labanta Bolajang in the 1980s, mid-1980s. So that means whatever we have now is archaic, it's out of date. So you have a menako TDA, you call it from the full low tide or high tide mark.
Yeah.
Coming inside, I think a certain amount of meters or so. But because of erosion, what canal? So I mean, so Nindula erota up to this year, so I jump on a TDA. They should revisit the planning standards. I can remember for land capacity and things like that. Physical planning should review all these things, but you are applying the same standards, even if in Bumbo or Nimfongol Bay, what standards? Old standards in 1980s? When there is urban development, urban growth to this fast rate and things like that, what be kela wato mena bung jambe mulolti. Plan will be master plan. It was done by Dr. Boro Suso. Dr. Boro Suso. What time meter? GTZ layer phone. And we are applying the same style. So Nico TDA, yeah, defining high water mark level canal for almost what? How many meters inside? So erosion canal nyama sutiawale.
It's just like the petrol station.
Unfortunate, we are in a very bad situation.
The petrol station near the cemetery of the Muslim cemetery.
Your Muslim cemetery, you are kadundunara.
So does that, Mr. Jammeh, so come to Gamen don't deserve to live in the TDA?
No. The thing is, Toma coming for. Yalong bimba binkono. Mumal minjita kesama. Jammeh ba kono wato men yara me nyilla bila kodi ntesela no woda malto
kuma ka
min diata mi yake wati bina sil ba iti yake dola fana bina ba kele because Senegal is a bright example. These are our neighbors. Nobody knows what is going to happen in 2026. You can never know. We only procrastinate.
No, UDP will win, don't worry.
We can. No, I'm not saying about. I'm still independent.
Okay, yes, support Lenore. Okay, you're independent.
I'm still independent. Constitutional right activist.
Okay. Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Barenga kuoje mi along komba discourse kanjambi.
So
ning mimba kera sama. Momo wolong. Yaje. Because nkwelo ko righteousness. Kamol bondi from nowhere, without experience, without your qualifications, Ikeke Palasol to Palasol Minialonko, they are very sensitive because local government act. The local government is the third arm of government everywhere in the world. Apart from the National Assembly, judiciary, it's a local government. Kodi? because ngamin be recommend no ol dol man tara ya bolli draft kono wala kata the government, the election of governors and chiefs, it should be there.
I think there were about over 20 amendments.
Yeah.
To the original 2000. I can't remember them all, but about 20 of them.
I can remember. Draft for ying, a bembulle. Draft for ying bembulle. All those things were changed. No one to be. Ying kun maram sifal min beke kan tenata killer. Because you don't need just for instance, you cannot be a chairman of a council. No. All councils are headed by mayors throughout the whole world, right? Especially these global conferences. Because I am a chairman of a committee or board of directors, but not a council.
Not a council.
That's not a title for it.
Okay.
Will be private member bill. That
would be interesting.
Your land issue also.
I would love to see that.
I'd love to see that because you know we need to
so
challenge these things. Land issue. Land issue
because amendment will come like Secretary of State has to change to minister.
Yeah.
Right?
Number will fall in.
All more 20 amendments. Anyway, I don't know.
Anyway, local service commission.
Okay.
Because all those things have to be repealed again. I murunga nyama. Okay? Yo nying film call for especially the how do you call it the election of these mayors and so on.
Yeah.
Here film call for electoral reform. I knew the manin soto yele. Because min bije comme president taba nyame anin to ngamin ke new constitution on yinto, they are far apart because we are now facing the dangers today. No qualification, no experience. Right? You become a mayor or you become a how do you call it, a president. So the same correction have to come again.
They have to come.
So what are the qualifications for mayors? Private
member bill.
Private member bill. Not from the constitution directly.
Okay.
Because next elections, pass because of qualification standard lebiye. Tertiary education. Right? You can have bachelor's or you can have master's.
Or a diploma.
Or a diploma. No, higher diploma. Not diploma.
The draft me?
Yes.
To be a president or mayor?
Yes. To be a president. But for the mayor, maybe you will have be secondary four.
Secondary four?
Yes. That is mockery. Will problem will be kana. Right. You're adding for an full like government will recall.
Recall from where?
Recall by your party or recall by the electorate.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Wofana is not effective because you have to apply at least 2/3 of the majority of the people
that voted for you.
So wala ninying fenko ngai ngul kuntaki fenko nyi kafunya because political appointments is just all temporal. Wala nan kafo ko ngai ne fenko challenge le. They are not within the line of public service to become civil servants.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand. Governors, they have to be elected. Chiefs, they have to be elected.
That would be interesting.
Right?
I'm looking forward to that private members bill.
No, now qualifications, qualifications as well.
Yeah.
At least, never chairman, never mayor of a district, of a region. Definitely, at least minimum suffering higher national diploma. Right? Minimum.
Yeah.
But Kafuko grade 12, what that is?
Did you say in your private members bill
Yes,
you
yes.
have chiefs to be elected
Pardon?
or selected? Chiefs
Prime members bill. What did you say? Chiefs to be elected or selected?
selected.
No.
In your private members bill, you have to take in care
They
of
have to
the
be
chiefs.
elected.
Elected. Chiefs.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, well, I have a different opinion.
That's
Because, I mean,
Anyway.
that would be interesting. Now let's coming back to the land, Tenko. I want to
land
because
also.
it's important for people to understand how anybody, like for every Gambian, can apply for land. What are the Tenko? Because, for example, for me, I look at this. There was so much land that was seized from Jammeh. You mean the Mawafi, and I still have problem with that. The amount they claim also to the Jammeh land. The Gambian people could have been given the opportunity. Low income, some of the lands were vast areas. Me along ko isa use no le ka develop ka ke mule low income housing projects ti. Me along ko man sa kunda ba ko do sotola je ikaluwa si kadi mula at a lower cost o si falu bari mawoje. Now, you know, and then niko fana land, you know, ni man connection soto ministry to wara lands nimba ngo kampuri lands so inte ka fu mo lente kabru do fo bi inte na land allocation so never ever never
Let me give you
I
that.
have never so and at the end of the day, you know, you see some people getting, you know, land jama nga mo do la argument de ko they were telling your party leader ko barata fane allocation no stolen during Jammeh time. So my thinking is more who is qualified to qualified to land so but ni more land killings allocated to them. Is that not okay? Is it
That's
you know,
one man, one plot.
one man, one
That's the
plot.
policy,
That's the policy.
Now, land issue, long coming up on initial talking to Uncle, physical planning, surveys, they should all be on the area councils.
Okay.
Right? It's just a proclamation, Kafoko, all the land belongs to the government. Now, all the land now, within area councils, the area of jurisdiction, belongs to area council.
They belong to area councils.
So, in allocation of infant, Kafo Kama Alola issue, and then in South Atlantic, the problem was at least KMC should have a say there.
Wow.
Because the council have to decide what was in my private member bill who is coming. Every council, right? You have settlement area, then you have zonal areas. One for industrial, one for agriculture, and the other side for business. 3 entities, right? So in land on in the Femkoning, you can follow in the act. I follow code 4246. Either to acquire land by agreement or to acquire land compulsory. You understand? So government needing allocation of land. Near Korokirby, one didn't be.
Atakela.
No.
But in prison at a left in land.
I did that.
You did
In my
that?
time when I was director of lands. Somebody wanted to buy property next to the president. I refused. I said there must be clearance.
That's it.
Wow.
A long minute. In fact, when the commission came, they called me to say, but you take
Fatiata back.
Yeah, it's just like Jammeh also.
That was, I remember, Akwete.
Wow.
Especially when they told him that I was a tech, you know, the university in Kumasi. They said, "What get this guy?" I refused.
And there was, wow.
And they had to go and get clearance, and until start order from Oko, okay, it's all right.
Wow.
Wow.
No.
I don't know how many people will do that today.
No, come on. During Jammeh's time,
stood,
these things were there.
Sorry, I also stood because I think when I was chief executive, you have these land transfers coming in. By then, Joseph.
Joseph, is he around?
He was stationed at Brikama by then, when I was chief executive. Now the president of Colin Samaya, pulling sign, book a sign.
I remember Joseph.
I
Wonder where is he now?
Wow.
Besides from my petition. But guess what? I summoned this that government to court, High Court. You have an unlawful removal, unlawful termination, and unlawful detention.
Wow, interesting. So when are we looking at you having your private members bill to the National Assembly? Should be interesting. The chairmans and the mayors should partner with you, because you are bringing so many things to the National Assembly.
The political will.
But the thing is, our National Assembly is very politicized, and if anything, that you have to do a lot of lobbying to convince National Assembly members.
With me, I'm always frank. What I can do now is, because everything I put up there, I have to justify it, right? And when I justify it, I'll send all the copies to the media. They dare not tamper with it again.
No.
If I do it just in communicado, they would tamper with it.
Yeah.
You understand? But when it is published, they'll be careful.
They'll be careful.
Because by then, maybe the opposition also will stand by and say, aha.
So when do we look forward to seeing it at the Assembly? Before the end of this new term, or are you looking at next?
No.
How soon?
I am talking about I just give grace period because edit can.
Okay.
For a period of about just 2 weeks.
So definitely this
Let's say before mid-July.
Wow, interesting. That would be interesting.
Yes. Before mid-July.
I look forward to that.
I'll make sure I'll send you a copy.
Please do that.
Yes.
I look forward to that.
Yes.
I would love to see
that would be interesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. So Mr. Komma, before ngata land ko nying be min fokang Gambia no lo nyanta mun process la tala. Bayri to nyalo bank land ni mun bele tat. Bi ni mi la fatala land apply la nyanta muna wala first step ta enta.
Well, normal application form like a apply and things like that.
50,000.
During our time, we had this land allocation board, and all the applications got idea. I know it's a very tough decision because you may have 10,000 applicants just for 300 crores or 500. So it's not that easy.
It's not easy.
But sometimes what you can do, you think in terms of certain like institutions and individuals, because you have to have the ability to build as well. You have to look at that apart from the other issues. So it's not easy. Amandia, quite frankly, it's a very tough job for them over there to try to allocate this land because it's more be satisfying. What could be done, of course, is just like what they were doing with social security and housing, because what the outcome of that, look at satisfaction only in terms of housing and things like that, and provision to the population. I don't know how effective that is at the moment, because now estate agents they have taken over everything.
All land.
That's one problem that we have. But again, it's still an avenue where people have an opportunity to buy land.
Okay.
Because Tafle was started young. I wrote the TAF project.
Okay.
I mentioned Yarambamba, and he had this funding from Shelter Africa together with some of my friends, Buba Bari and Bai or something like that.
Okay.
And out of that emanated all these other like Swami and all the others. But most of them plan unlike Taf
develop,
which is different.
Which is
I think that because then you will have the opportunity to at a low cost or something like that. Government
involved, I think that
will be more satisfying, but not this layout planning. Those things are getting out of fashion. This imagine Jomai will make then they build and
give it to people low income earners.
As I said, it boils down to one thing. You see, there's money coming for the elections have consequences.
It does.
So always in Qatar in Africa. Imagine Makisala winter Senegal be there's a different catalog.
Yes, it's going to be different.
So we have to think in those in those terms and see how we select our leaders and things like that. Unfortunately, we don't have, sometimes in African countries, we don't have the political maturity, political differentiate. It's either ethnic based and, things like that. Like we witness here, is very much ethnic based. Like the main opposition party, UDP, is labeled Mandinka party. They are angry, you know, and people just buy it. Yeah, Jammeh started it, and there's some kind of continuity. It's unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. Unless we get out. But I think things are changing as far as UDP is concerned.
You think so?
Oh, yes, they are.
Okay.
You can see that. With people like Larry and Mani talking, people are thinking, because you look at feedback, certainly.
Yes.
A lot of feedback.
I mean, those people are always in the media. And I think I tell people it's important to be out there and talk to the people, you know.
They are changing. People are changing. Perspectives are changing completely.
Tom, I don't buy that idea.
You don't buy what idea? Which one?
People like tough.
Oh.
I don't buy the idea. You know why?
Why?
Well, anyway, it's one avenue, as I said. It's just one avenue.
I understand.
And I think it's a reasonable avenue.
No, you didn't agree with one of my points. So I didn't also agree with one of these points.
Oh, okay.
No, I accept.
Simply because Mini Nyanta Sotola. Because in fact, throughout Africa or even Europe, housing is done by councils. Like a council tax houses. So Kadi Molle Mini Alonko, they are vulnerable to poverty. You understand?
Yeah.
It can be farmers.
Yeah.
So all level ning kumu ning housing estates. It will be Kadi Molle Mini Alonko, they are at poverty level.
No.
Even most of the civil servants, they don't have it. They cannot afford it.
Yeah.
Because of salaries. You understand? What could have been done was coming out for Nyaming, start Nyaming. All these things should have been acquired by council, all lands within its area of jurisdiction.
Jammeh, council fele sulo la pour que la library lo anim fenkoli buka so
no
man sakunda ma dida fo KMC man tara kumbo ka lan ko la ja
no
ma so no man sakunda bo
coming
e go hani la title la Marcel Leminulo a title fo buka so they cannot use it for anything.
There's an integrity problem there.
So
I even make a fin.
Abarinko
so
nko ni nga tara misalem fe
ha
yalo njale bala kumolo akoni na kote ngara reba kelen jailet kori
ha yo
yimba dia mo mimbel for ngal example on ko experience people like Tom mana ko ni bo fenko to mana yim mes be bakela atakela
so it boils down to getting the right people in the right job.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yin land issue amunta ko yin coming is all the lands is under the jurisdiction of the council of every local government area, right? So ying la revision on ying because I remember, I think one of the the local service, sorry, the Human Rights Commission chairman at Ondile,
Emmanuel
Juf. He is also the chairman of the board of directors of Land Commission.
Now,
no, before.
Sokle Benunje.
Sorry. I'm sorry. What happened?
Commission for Montana.
What happened when he faced the National Assembly for this annual presentation of the accounting and that sort of thing? You know what he said? He said that commission is dead and they are all treated like bulldogs.
It's true.
They are toothless.
It's true. Well, and I be resigned.
You see?
I was never working.
So, but where are all these lands going to? Because the former permanent secretary, and a younger brother, he has already established what we call universal properties.
Which former permanent secretary?
Mantatofla.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's all right.
Mantatofla.
That's all right.
So, what universal properties? Been for Adoma, who from Bantale.
Yeah, but what Ikirelano sang from Kabilo letter, not ministry. Ministry book all allocated. I know.
What could have been
ministry
done?
Ni agents all state agents all Kirelano sang alcalo ni sati level. Ministry book all sifar allocated.
Yalong the main
Ministry kami allocate ikadi man sakunda molela directolu wala musolu wal barindingolu wal fenkol wal ka wala allocate ñing ke non del kam info ñing estate ila lanol itolu ikata alkalo le bulu anin kabila tielu sa telu anin momini an ko masakunda allocate ya wal faneta wafi dole ya especially right now bato kunku do moje we working on that ya jamela land ni alon ko ya be fence day ya ngami moy rumors they allocated to one politician ate ya wafi real estate dollar how many million we're working on that story. Those are the kind of stuff abanki ko man sa directly la ka allocate where man sa ka allocate model le some of the lands there's something that is brewing ya jamela land ni alon ko commission o ma address ala land ni alon ko commission o ma address allocate land mi mu mota fonole do fele Senegambia jam
serious
behind King's Bakery alors you cannot imagine how many land
nobody
but normal government is not telling us who they are allocating those land and how many properties from abe allocate kaminia stadium opposite jumale ta modulati nika as chief executive of some ika land allocate la musole bari ngole maringolia ndol bi jan modol bi mal land fongo malon fongo allocation o kastanyade
nobody good thing about corruption
people know about these things
and footprints are in Delhi always
so real estate ka sang alkal tiol le ada ni sate tiol man sakunda ka allocate wole and I know Universal we used to work with them but I think those things are very it's interesting.
Perhaps what councils can do is to have land banks. Get a lot of land around.
That's a good idea.
All the land is now going, especially to the foreign.
That's a good idea.
Things like that.
That's the best idea.
Establish land banks where in the future they can start allocating housing estates and things like that.
Exactly.
They will tell you they don't even own their office space. They don't give them the malabri. It's interesting.
These are some of the things.
But
instead of getting the estate agents doing that, they should get a land bank all over the place.
But will these opposition party leaders will they have that sense?
They have the capacity. You have you have people like Mani, Larry, and
no, I mean those in the how do you call it on the seat.
The ones in council.
The ones in council right now. I don't think the capacity is there. That's the problem. We have a capacity problem from leadership right down. It's a problem. Even the technical level is a problem.
So where were they elected?
The people, there's nothing we can do about that. We have to look at. I released one article today. Maybe you should read that later on. About economic law and democracy.
All right, tell us that we can publish it.
Yes, normally standard cap or champ. I got it on the Facebook page.
Okay, I'll check it there.
Yes, if you check Lamin Komma COMMA on Facebook.
Please send us articles, please.
Yes,
Okay. Interesting. Man, that's a very interesting conversation. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Mr. Jammeh, we program o sorna mintol.
Yeah.
Go program o bantale. Mo na kilela kumala bangati.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. So I'm also fortunate to meet my brother here, whom I once worked with.
Okay.
Because he was overseeing what you call this. SDRD. By then I was also assisting Lamin Baji at the council because I was a development officer and Lamin Baji was also representing this SDRD funded by EC.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to meet him again after meeting him for so many years. So also I'm also happy for the first time in my life to be invited by one of my sisters to face the cameras.
Yes.
So once again, I thank you for that, honoring me, that privilege.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the discussion, I found it very, very, very useful.
Yes.
And educative as well.
Yeah.
Because we share the opinions together. That at least should give me extra, how do you call it, experience, extra knowledge. The impact of it, at least, will give me room for complacency. that I'll be able to maneuver sometimes when I'm writing these articles. I can always recall issues or topics that we started, and then how we'll be able to find a solution to at least for most of those solutions. But nonetheless, I'm so grateful to share my opinion. So grateful to share my experience. But it should not be the end.
No, you will definitely be back here.
So anytime I'll be on a standby to answer to your call.
Definitely.
And I wish you also longer life.
Thank you.
Protection.
Thank you.
And Allah's wisdom.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jammeh. Mr. Komma.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for the invitation, really. I think it was very fruitful.
Yeah.
For me, really, it was some kind of learning stuff because it's been a long time since I've been in touch with land and local government issues.
I know.
But suddenly I started collecting some of them. It's quite good.
Yeah.
And I thank you for that. And I think you are doing a great job. I'm one of your key followers.
Thank you so much.
You know,
thank you.
Of some of the programs that are going on. And I look forward to, other programs that you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. You have always been on the brunch. I've seen you a couple of times on the brunch, but this is the first time coming here, and obviously Mr. Jammeh also.
It's good to meet him too, because as he said, I was the program director and program manager for the SDRB.
Yeah.
And that was part. Brikama Area Council was part of it. It was quite good.
Interesting. Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's interesting to have all of you here and have conversations like this because, this is what people want to hear. At this point, really what the law says about these things. It was interesting to hear from him, especially about Fengodol, because how people. I thought he was NPP, so he might be defending. But I was really surprised to see how he was really, always agreeing to what you were saying when it comes to, because it only shows and I think that is important. It's important. I hope the authorities watch this program and understand councils la sembo and that is what is happening in Brikama. The people are more the chairman defend and the council because the council sembo sotol. And I think Yankuba Fanang Bebinkeka is right because when you have some powers, yeah, I think that is important. Thank you very much, Mr. Jammeh and Mr. Komma, for coming, and to the technical team. Thank you very much, and good night to you all. See you next week.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your Trust Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.